Now, I think that we could all safely agree here that Jada Pinkett Smith is definitely on top of the insufferable list. You know, you have the fact that she is a constant liar, pathologically speaking, I believe so at least. She's also a narcissist, someone who really tries to really distance herself from taking any kind of responsibility for the ramifications and or consequences that she has created for other people and for herself even. And that just goes to show you that her book called Worthy, in my opinion, it should be titled Cringeworthy, to be honest. That book in particular is something that should not be on store shelves. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, one thing that I really do honor and respect are creators out there like Trey Parker and Matt Stone of South Park Studios and, of course, South Park in general for really having pretty much no boundaries and have had pretty much no boundaries for, you know, all of the seasons pretty much and all of their events that are currently planned out. Now, one major development has a lot to do with what's been going on with Parker, Stone, Paramount Plus, Comedy Central, South Park Studios, etc., and what they are planning to do for 2024. Let's get into it. Now, one thing about Trey Parker and Matt Stone that I think a lot of fans out there do value is the fact that they hop on board of either current trends or something that is where, you know, you gotta strike where the iron is hot to create a proper parody. And one thing about Parker and Stone has a lot to do now with Jada Pinkett Smith. Now, with actress Jada Pinkett Smith already in the process of calling out SNL for creating a parody of herself and her life situation with Will Smith that she will make available, calling them out on the Howard Stern show later this month. One major development, as it turns out, has to do with South Park Studios hopping on the bandwagon to mock Jada Pinkett. Now, one significant pitch by both Parker and Stone that was recently approved behind the scenes by Paramount Plus to air this as yet another special event is to directly mock the entire Will Smith and Chris Rock slap situation along with the current drama surrounding Jada Pinkett and her new book called Worthy. With 2 follow-ups planned for the Panderverse event, one crucial update surrounding this is that both Parker and Stone are now in the works of putting Jada Pinkett Smith into the storyline as a full-fledged parody. Now, the overall approach between Parker and Stone about Jada Pinkett is to insert her into the multiverse storyline somehow, some way, and that her book, Worthy, will be a part of the upcoming follow-up to Panderverse to address what's been going on between her and Will Smith. Now, though South Park only made a minor jab at the Smith and Rock Oscars slap that was very low-key in the past, they are now planning to make this fully direct and finally, as they have been on the fence doing this with their event called, of course, Panderverse Part 2, that's not necessarily going to be titled that, in which it is scheduled to actually have more conflicts for the coming months. Now, what's interesting about this, guys, let me just say one thing about that real quick before I move on, is the fact that they have been fence riding this for a while due to scheduling conflicts, figuring out whether or not they wanted to make this into an episode or an event was something that they were going back and forth for months. Now that Jada Pinkett, you know, really got mocked by SNL big time, this is really the inspiration, so to speak, by South Park Studios to hop on this again and to just make this into the Part 2 of Panderverse and to fit that into that storyline. Now, if you guys have seen Panderverse, and you guys may very well know exactly what I'm talking about, they take multiple jabs at concepts about the multiverse, concepts of what Disney has been following, and they want to basically mesh all of the things that have been going on throughout 2023 into this one big follow-up to what we just saw on Paramount Plus. Now, again, we know that Comedy Central plans to debut the Panderverse event on television in the future, in the not-so-distant future, to kind of get it out there more so to those that may not have Paramount Plus. You know, we know that the streaming wars, they're also still planning a part 3 to that because they only got 2 parts out right now. They want to conclude that as a trilogy. That is one thing that is also being worked on, by the way, by Trey and Matt. So the fact that they are in the process right now of mocking Jada Pinkett Smith, the whole Oscar slap situation, and to be quite honest, guys, I mean, I was pretty shocked that they did not directly mock that, like, right away on the button. But a lot of it had to do, like I said before, with scheduling conflicts, and they didn't really know exactly whether or not they wanted to make that either into an event or an episode at the time. Now, this is where things get interesting, alright? So, the plan by South Park Studios right now is to have the event both available on Paramount Plus and Comedy Central to improve traction and exposure, and that they plan to begin production on this episode by January of next year, as they want this to be a successful follow-up to Panderverse. In addition to this, they are also planning to fit Jada Pinkett into the Disney parody storyline somehow, connected to Will Smith, that will also be mocked in the upcoming event for 2024. The release date window for this event is set to be announced by this December of this year, right around the later half of that month, to make the fans aware of what's coming. The event is aimed to be around 45 minutes long in length, and both Parker and Stone have no plans to stop it there, with this event in particular, as they want to turn this event into a full-on trilogy, with the third part doubling down on Jada Pinkett, Kathleen Kennedy, Disney, and everything happening with Marvel, Star Wars, and Lucasfilm as a whole. South Park was inspired to do this reportedly after SNL mocked Jada Pinkett and Will Smith and saw the value and demand for a parody of her, and that's what they are taking advantage of right now. So again, the fact that a lot of studios are beginning to not only mock Disney, but also Jada Pinkett Smith, it goes to show you that there are a lot of studios beginning to understand that they really are beginning to realize that it's not a minority, it's more like a silent majority. More and more people are beginning to speak their opinion, and loudly so, and rightfully so, about their concern with pop culture, about their concern about what kind of celebrities are impacting on, you know, the current status of pop culture and all of the things that are happening in the film and, you know, television industry right now. There's a lot of things that South Park is taking advantage of, and like I say, I mean, they view Disney as a goldmine, they view all the celebrity drama that's been happening throughout this year as a goldmine, and you're gonna see this new era of South Park for new upcoming events. We saw what they did with Streaming Wars, we saw what they did with other aspects before in the past, with Mickey Mouse, aka Mr. Mouse, in just a couple years past. But yeah, I think that this is a good move by Parker and Stone. I think it's a healthy thing for South Park. It gives them fresh material to work with. And not just that, I think it's also going to improve the show. I definitely do think that this is the greatest material to work with, because it kind of works hand in hand with the public really in demand of having a studio shine the light on all the nonsense. So anyway, guys, drop a comment below. Fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.